Hi, I'm Katie, and this is episode 86 of Ornamentations. And for today, we have a holiday spectacular. I'm here with my tree, and I have several ornament finishes to share, as well as some holiday haul, some whips, and my wonderful Christmas tree here in the background. I'll be filming in front of it until it comes down, which will probably be mid-January. I can't stand to go from Christmas to zero, so I pretty much leave my tree up until it dies. I am really feeling the holiday spirit, as you might be able to see. I'm thrilled. I hope you're thrilled to be here. I have been baking. I did a round 2 of pumpkin pies this weekend, and my home smells like spices, evergreen, and Christmas, which is enough to just, make me feel the holiday spirit in the biggest way. I even have some fabulous sparkly earrings to match my sparkling Christmas tree. So I am feeling super festive today. But we'll start today with finishes because I have been busy stitching, not just decorating my house and putting ornaments on my tree, although honestly, just sidebar, tree day is one of my favorite days of the year, when I get to take out all of my ornaments and play with them and arrange them. It's so special to get to see all of my creations and just enjoy them for the time that they're up. That it's not all year, I think, makes it all the more special to get to see them again. So it's been a good time since I saw you last, and I hope that you are enjoying your December as well. If you were at the Jingle Ball this weekend, I hope you had a wonderful time. As many of you know, I signed up for the Stacy Nash Gingerbread House pinkeep class, which I hope to watch this week. I wasn't able to actually attend the Jingle Ball due to conflicts, but so far, early reports are that it was a great time, so I'm sorry to have missed it. But with that preamble over, let's talk finishes, because I've been stitching a lot, and we are going to start where we left last episode, and that's with my ongoing series of versions of the Not Forgotten Farms pair I recently released, Little Nick and Cookie Claus. So I have finally finished all of my versions and all of my models, and let's take a look. So this is a pair on Fuller's Teasel with beaded accents, but this is not the model pair. This uses the more faded red that we've talked about in previous episodes, but they still look pretty awesome. These are going to be a gift. They've got their fabulous fluffy accents. And then to compare, we have the same faded red. This was on Wild Honey. I think you can see there why I decided on Fuller's Teasel. But if the Wild Honey speaks to you, this does not take very much linen, so it'd be very easy to sub those out. So these you all saw before. That's just for comparison. And then I finally finished all of my models for the upcoming kits, which I hope will be Christmas in July. Supplies are already on order. Some crystals already came in, which allowed me to finish them. So this guy, who we saw stitched last time and laced as a finish, but he didn't yet have his crystal ornament hanger, which he now has. He's been taking up residence on my tree. He looks awesome. Tip, if you've got anything with a crystal edging or hanger, hang it right in front of a light. And naturally I can't find a light behind me. It's only a small section of tree. This is my biggest tree yet. It tops 7 feet. As I keep making ornaments, I keep getting bigger trees each year, which is one of the benefits of using a natural tree. I can scale it to how my stitching has gone over the year and how many ornaments I've given away. But anyways, back to this. So if you hang the crystal hanger or edging right in front of a light, it just sparkles like mad. So these guys are looking great on the tree. So this is the final model for Little Nick. These are the threads, the small 2mm crystal rounds, as well as the fuzzy stuff that are used for embellishment on the finish itself will be included in all kits. And then I will offer a beading extra that will be the peppermint crystal hangers for these two, because I finished Cookie Claus in the rectangular format as well and gave her her crystal hanger. Oh, they are so sparkly and fun. And then because I couldn't resist, you know me, I get going, I don't stop. The fact that I've stitched the same thing like 10 times doesn't seem to bother me as much as if I like it this much. I also did an oval finish of Cookie Claus with the full beaded edging. I've got her in a spot pretty high up right in front of lights, so you can really see the light shining through her crystal edging, and it looks fabulous. Now, the beading kit will only cover just the hangers. I did the math, and to do a hanger for Little Nick and a full edging for Cookie Claus, because the kits are going to be for both of them, they use the exact same thread palette, so it's 2 for 1 on that. To do all of the beads for both of those would have made for a super expensive add-on. But I am going to include all information on this, what you would need in the kit information if you would also like to really dazzle up your Cookie Claus. And I'm quite sympathetic to that because, oh, did I enjoy that myself? That was fabulous. So we've got a whole plethora of these guys. They look great. I have been thrilled to have them on my tree, and then the extras will be gifts this holiday season. I still have a few more things to make, but my Christmas list is almost done. I'm super proud, and then I can focus on prep for Sampler Symposium and stitching for myself, baking, and just enjoying the holidays, which is exactly where I like to be. All fun, no stress. So those were Little Nick and Cookie Claus, and then a previous finish that we also saw last time. Ooh. Sorry, I moved my chair right on top of the picture. That's Fox and Rabbit's Elizabeth Cheven's pinwheel. This was shown finished last time, but it got its crystal edging of sparkling briolettes since I saw you last. So you can really see, I think those bright pops of pink just complement that perfectly. So the actual stitching on of the briolettes I filmed, and that became the tutorial for the sparkling crystal briolet edging, which is now up on this channel if you haven't yet seen it. So that's Elizabeth Cheven's. The conversion was shared in the last episode, and then all details on the edging are in the description for the tutorial. I'm just knocking the finishes off left, right, and center because, oh yeah, I've got more to share. And, oh, okay, so finished. Sorry, you're gonna see me leaning down and out of frame a lot because I'm just in a little chair that I've wedged in next to my tree. I have no space around me to put things, so it's all on the floor and I'm grabbing it. So I have a finished but not yet FFO for my next share, and that is Pennsylvania Christmas 2 by Shakespeare's Peddler. This one, because I realized as I was stitching it that the piece I actually love the most is the original Pennsylvania Christmas deer seen here on the back. So I've ordered the chart, it's on the way, and I want to stitch that as a companion piece to the smaller pillow, which I have stitched but not yet FFO'd. Oh my goodness, does this look fabulous or what? I love it. So I haven't FFO'd it because I wanted to give you the before and after between this Flosstube and the next, how different this is going to look when it's pulled in and it gets its crystal edging. I have some more briolettes on the way. They aren't here yet, which is the other reason I didn't bother to finish this, because I couldn't truly get the full effect without the sparkling finish that goes with it. So the linen here is Legacy Linen 37 count Indian Paintbrush, which is a very vivid orange red. It's actually quite a screamer, although, oh, it goes well with one of my favorite Christmas reds that I use for my felt ornaments all the time. And it's just so bright when you see it in person, but it really calms down once you get the white on there. And it is also a perfect match. See where I put, oh, it's a perfect match to one of my very favorite crystal colors. That would be the fabulous light cyan, which is also a more orangey red. Fabulous. So I have had my thinking cap on, and I have an idea for a red and sparkly display, which I'm going to start working on. I don't think I'll finish it in time for this Christmas, but I hope to have it for next year. So I'm thinking this Pennsylvania Christmas deer, some red and sparkly fabulousness. Oh, I have ideas, but there aren't enough hours in the day. So we'll see how I do with that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is your choices on whites and Gobelins. So a friend of mine, and you're going to hear her telling you all about this quite soon, has really taken to Gobelins recently. And one of the things she told me that she loved about it was how beautiful her white stitching was with Gobelins, that it just looks gorgeous without the fuss. Now, I've always been a silk person when it comes to cross stitch, so I had never really understood that there was a problem with white stitches. Mine have always looked really nice. So if you'd like to give it a try, I wanted to show you what your choices are in Gobelins. There are 5. I used the middle shade here, which is F02, and yes, I did actually go to the trouble of stitch testing multiple white shades on Indian Paintbrush because I'm a special kind of crazy. So I'll list these in the description going from left to right. So on the left we have our true optic white, which is Blanc, Creme, F02, Brut, and 2541, which is the richest, most off-white of the bunch. I believe F02 is inactive. The closest substitute would be Brut if you would like to stitch Pennsylvania Christmas 2, Pennsylvania Christmas Deer, or whatever, as I have done. I also ordered the Noel pillow from Shakespeare's Peddler. That's on a light pink linen, but I thought that might also look really great stitched white on bright red. So stay tuned on how many things. Sorry, had to sneeze. This is going to be a bit of an abrupt transition. I'm not exactly sure where I was. I think it was that I have another finish to show you, not cross stitch. I do have another cross stitch finish to show you, but that'll be after this because it's not a Katie Christmas episode without some very sparkly wool felt applique, and that's what I have to show you. This kind of goes with haul, but funny story before I get there. I guess, you know, Christmas just makes me chatty or something. If you're not feeling it, feel free to turn me off. Anyways, I had put my tree up. I was stitching merrily away on my ornaments. I was adding crystal sparkly edgings, and I was having fun, but I wasn't at that intense, obsessed Christmas crafting spirit that I usually get as soon as the tree goes up. I was kind of like, what is with that? Am I not feeling it this year? Is that not going to be a thing? What has happened to me? This is very disturbing. But then this came into my life, and I realized that I guess it's just not Christmas in my world until I put sequins all over something. Anyways, so this goes with haul. I ordered some of Ornamentations sparkly embellished ornaments. This is the Goose Elaine, and it's got rhinestones, it's got bugles, it's got sequins, it's got gold threads. You can see why I was drawn to this, even though my tree is heavily weighted towards things I or my mom have made. It's almost all handmade ornaments. So this is the Gobelins ornament, and it was actually supposed to have a couple of other friends, a partridge and a pear tree, and one more. Yeah, those got canceled without any "I'm sorry" from Fortnum 10 days after I placed the order. Not impressed with their customer service. Actually, I was so irritated that I like, you know what? I'm not going without my partridge and pear tree. I'm just gonna make one myself. So I printed off a photo from their website. This is their version. As you might be able to see, I made my own. So this was done entirely from stash, which is one of the reasons it's a little different. I mean, it's also a little different just because I always have to do my own take on something. I don't ever want to do exactly what I'm told to do. So the secret to embellished wool applique a la Katie is maximum variety. This has a million different types of sequins, beads, bugles, different metallic cords, all kinds of fun stuff. You just throw them all on there, see what sticks, and sparkle. Love that wing. The proliferation of bugles and how they're really effectively deployed with sequins on the Fortnum ornaments has had me thinking this was go number one. I can do better than this. I mean, I'm liking it. I actually like my version better. I think I said that. I really am just so annoyed about. I mean, it's okay to be sold out, but like, don't be rude. That's mean. That is fun though. So basically the way I go about this is I make a pattern of what it is that I'm trying to do. And then I throw everything I own in that possible color range on the table and just start stitching stuff on and see what sticks. There was no plan here other than Sparkle Town. I think it worked. It was effective. So that's my first wool felt applique ornament of the season, if you don't count all the doves. I mean, the doves weren't new. I feel like the first wool felt applique of the season has to be something new. So that was new. And then I am going to make my own version of the other ornament they unceremoniously canceled on me, but that'll be for next time. I had some fun with sparkly birds. So in that, I guess they did me a favor. And then, last cross stitch finish before we get to whips and haul is a Pineberry Lane. This one is a gift, which is why it's been adapted a little oddly. Just warning. This is Pineberry Lane, Merry Christmas hanging sampler. And I am going to stitch this as charted for myself, for my own tree. I've already cut another piece of linen for it. This is 48 count bride cake, what I stitched this version on. But when I saw this, I thought, you know, that is perfect to be modified for something for my brother. I make my brother Christmas ornaments every year, and usually not cross stitch because I do things that are personalized to his tastes. They tend to be about hockey or South Park or weird inside family jokes, which you usually don't find on cross stitch charts. But this one lent itself very easily to a hockey joke. It may not seem to be in the Christmas spirit, but you know what? Hockey fandom is a blood sport. Being nice is not part of the deal. So this is Merry Christmas to all except Matthew Kachuk, who is a huge jerk. I don't think he watches my Flosstube channel. Apologies to any Florida Panthers fans who do, but you know what? He's a jerk. I think he owns that. And this is on 48 count bride cake stitched with soie surfing, and then I added little 15-0 seed beads those will be listed in the description as well as the two colors I actually did if you're looking for a nice red and green silk combination. It's missing, the conversion is currently missing the other colors, but I am going to stitch this as charted for myself. And yes, never let it be said, I do not love my brother because I did full crosses over 1 on 48 count for the 2 all except Matthew Kachuk. But oh, isn't it fun? I mean, if you just ignore the hockey angle, I think that this is a great ornament size on 48 count. And then the red and the green, they just really sing on the bride cake, which is my sleeper pick for the 48 count Legacy Linen. I was all into March paint when that came out, but I think the just kind of warm, gentle creaminess of bride cake makes colors sing. And then I can't help using seed beads for single stitches. This is Silver Lined Ruby because it gets rid of the problem of doing single stitches. It adds this texture, a little bit of sparkle, really fun. So my brother is going to love this. I know, so silly, but I never said I was normal. And it will be his first cross stitch ornament from me. I think they're pretty much all wool felt applique, all kinds of fun and silly things over the years. Okay, I think we might be very start and stop because allergies. Anyways, so he'll really enjoy that. And I have already, as I said, cut another piece of bride cake to stitch this for myself. That is one of my plans, to do the Pineberry Lane Merry Christmas hanging sampler and finish it as an ornament for my own tree. And then there is one more cross stitch finish, which unfortunately I don't actually have here, but I'm going to insert photos. This is my mom's finish of her Prairie Schooler Santa, which she showed you as a whip in her last episode. They really are super quick and very fun to stitch up. She did a softer finish, so we had talked about this. She had seen my own. I prefer the more structured finishes, so as you can, I lace over mat board, but I lightly pad out the mat board with felt to give it that slightly rounded edge, but it's still very structured. It's quite stiff, but she likes a soft finish. So she had asked me how I do mine. I told her, she tested it out, and then she actually undid it and reverted to the usual style of finish that she does here. So for comparison, it's just a softer look. So she whipped her edges over felt, and then she turned under the edges of the silk satin backing and slip stitched those together on the back to give the softer finish as opposed to my own more structured look. These are my Prairie Schooler Santa kits, which are still available for purchase along with Cardinal pins and the Stacy Nash Wonderful Life pinkeep drum, which is shown here with my own sparkling wreath tutorial. Sidebar, you can also use that just to make big sprays of crystal berries, which is another thing I do plan to be doing. Gonna be fabulous. So a lot of the tutorials do have multiple applications, but it's also pretty great as a wreath. You could also do a wreath with red berries. I really like the soft tonal things, but there's always a lot that you can do with just about anything. And then also on the doves, so there has been a lot of interest. Many of you have joined the email notification list. I don't have the number that I would need to commit to restocking these, so please do sign up on the email list, which is linked in the description if you would like to see the doves come back. I am looking at it, but we're not there yet. So then also, let's talk whips, or actually, I'm gonna pause this, go get my whips, and then come back to you. Okay, whips. So I actually just have one at the moment. I'm being reasonably monogamous, and that is a second version of Not Forgotten Farms Cinder Claws. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you might be thinking, wait, Katie, didn't you already stitch that? And the answer is, yes, I did. It's hanging on my tree. This guy is from last year. I will link the episode in which I did the conversion. This is on Fox and Rabbit, 36 count, with an original silk conversion, fuzzy stuff for his beard, because I am very predictable. And to be perfectly honest, I love this guy. There is absolutely nothing wrong with him that I would want to change. He has a pretty good spot on my tree, just out of frame, front and center. I love him. But I was watching Lori Holt's Christmas Flosstube for all of her Christmas stitching, and she is using this vivid coral pinky red for all of her reds on Prairie Schooler Santas, on Cinder Claws, and as much as I love my own versions, I was like, ooh, gotta do that. So to switch it up a little bit, I decided to do a second version for my own tree. Yes, I'm going to keep them both. I'm a nut. On 45 count foxtail millet, using a slightly different conversion. This isn't finished, but the threads have all been used. So this is a little brighter with the cheeks, and then it's got a really vivid pinky coral red. And then I also changed the bijou out here. So the conversion will be listed in the description. He's so tiny on 45 count, but I did want to make him different and not just in the red used. So I'm normally, for the record, not a huge fan of cramming too much thread into too tight a weave. This is soie surfine, except for the bijou, and I would normally say the bijou is too large for 45 count, but there it does really have the effect of concentrating this sparkle, and that's really nice. So I used the brown wrap pyrite. It gives this beautiful bronzy effect when stitched, as opposed to the black and gold, Renaissance gold, which was used on my previous version. So these are my threads. Aren't those gorgeous? Don't you love them? Don't you just really badly want to stitch this, especially this? Oh, ooh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That is 2689. That would be 689 in 103. And I am also going to stitch a third version as a gift, but that will be in 2025. We'll talk about that in plans. And I do have an idea for a bright coral Gobelins to use on that. I think he's a little more effective at a larger scale. So the third version, which will be a gift, will be back on 38 count and with swag Gobelins. But this has been really fun. I should have this finished and FFO'd for next time. I have an idea about a different variation on a crystal hanging that I can't wait to try. So, you know, this is when I know I'm in the holiday spirit, when I'm full of ideas. I have things I can't wait to try out. I have new ideas. I have thoughts about displays. So yeah, holiday spirit was a little late arriving this year, but it's definitely here now and I'm feeling it. So that's my one whip, except for beading, which we'll do last. And so let's get to plans and haul, which are two related things. So the first plan is to stitch the Pineberry lane again for my own tree on the 48 count bride cake. And oh boy. So what was supposed to be my December 12 by 12, and I don't know if I have an official December ornament for my 12 by 12, because this will probably be the first one finished. So I guess we're gonna say Cinder Claws Part 2 is the official December 12 by 12. But what I had originally been planning to do for quite a while was Prairie Schooler Happy Christmas, but just this top segment stitched as an ornament. And something had just kind of been holding me back there. This kept getting pushed back and pushed back in the pile because I felt like there was just something I wasn't seeing. I didn't have clear vision. I knew there was a Katie version of this, but I didn't quite know what it was yet. And then it hit me. And this just got moved back to the top of the queue because the Katie version of this is beautiful silk gobelins, some sparkles, some sequins, some beads, some crystals, definitely a crystal hanging, but on bright, vivid turquoisey blue. This is Fox and Rabbit 40 count ocean air. This is, oh, see, it was meant to be. This is all that's left of my original piece, and it is the perfect size to stitch that top strip of Happy Christmas on. So that's what's up. I have said this more times than I can count on this channel, but you're gonna have to hear it again, which is that I love vivid pops of turquoise blue, aqua, all of that on a tree. So this is one of my previous stitches on Fox and Rabbit Ocean Air, which usually sits right next to me when I'm stitching. This is Peppermint Pals, which I have in a bowl. And then wasn't sure I was gonna be able to reach that. I also have Merry Old Soul. This one is finished as an ornament, also on the same piece of Fox and Rabbit Ocean Air. I will link the conversions to both of these in the descriptions. I did these quite a while ago. So this hangs on the tree and it just looks great against the tree. So that's gonna look fabulous. Definitely a plan. This is not large. I think it should be pretty quick to stitch up once it gets started. So we'll see where I am on this next time. I tend to kind of power through things at Christmas when I'm really just feeling it. I'm spending a lot of time stitching. I'm all hopped up on too much holiday baking, and yeah. And so I was gonna do all my Christmas plans first, and then we were gonna get to some other plans. Stacy Nash, Gingerbread House Sewing Book. Given the full Katie Sparkle Prim treatment, you will have to wait for the kit. This will probably be holiday 2025 because this is a Jingle Ball exclusive and the chart won't be in full release until next year, but I'm gonna stitch it this Christmas. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing so. I've already ordered some embellishments. I've got ideas. This is gonna be great. So, but that might be a little closer to Christmas because when the tree is first up, I just get so hyped about ornaments that I want to add to my masterpiece. So that's what I'm feeling. Another plan I have is that I am going to bring back the 12 by 12 one ornament for every month of the year. And that's going to be with my friend Karen of Fox and Rabbit. I'm sure she'll be telling you all about this herself in their next Flosstube. Did you see their last one? I totally did. I sat down and watched it as soon as it was up. And it's going to be with a slight twist. It's going to be more gift oriented. So I did do 12 ornaments, one for every month of the year for this year, and a few were given as gifts, but I also kept a lot of them for myself. Karen's idea, which is so typically Karen, if you've never had the pleasure of meeting Karen and Bren, they legitimately are just the nicest, kindest, most giving and thoughtful people. So naturally this would be Karen's take on the 12 by 12, and I'm following suit. So it's going to be making 12 ornaments with the idea that most of them are gifts that you have ready for the holiday season early to ship out to all your stitchy friends. Great plan, right? I am going to make just a few ornaments for myself as part of the 12 by 12, but most of them are going to be with the plan of giving as gifts. So a third version of Cinder Claus to give as a gift, and then my January 12 by 12 I've already picked. This is going to be this guy, modified a little bit. These are the little house ornaments from Victoria's Sampler. And I'm going to have to make some changes because I want to stitch it on a higher account but still keep the size. So I'm essentially going to just double it out. I'll rechart and you'll see what that looks like when I actually do the stitching. But this is inspired by the one my mom made for me. So I moved into this house in 2016 and she personalized this ornament, stitched it for me, and gave it to me for Christmas that year to commemorate my first Christmas in my new home. Love, Mom. And I have always loved this. It means so much to me. It was such a special thought, and I love this. Really inventive with my descriptions today. So I have some dear friends who have just purchased a new home themselves, and so I'm going to stitch a version for them. They haven't moved in yet. Their first Christmas in their new home will be 2025. So for January 2025, I'm going to stitch them their own new home Merry Christmas ornament. So this is adapted from Victoria's Sampler. This is my mom's, and I can't wait to make my own version for some very dear friends. I'm gonna do it on brown linen because this doesn't actually look anything like my house. It's just a little white box in California, but theirs is kind of like a tall townhousey style, multiple stories in a dark brown brick. So I thought I'd make a few tweaks to make it look like their actual house. That'll be fun. Also, if you make it larger, you don't have to do nearly as much over one for all the letters. So, woo, look at that, I'm smart. And then next plan, and this is for January, and I'm just gonna give you a quick preview. I'm going to let Laura tell you all about it because there's no better hype woman than Laura. But my friends, Brenda and Laura and I, so that would be Brenda and the Serial Starter here on Flosstube, are going to start a stitch along together at Sampler Symposium. And whether or not you're going to be at Sampler Symposium, you are cordially invited to join us in what's going to be an absolutely glorious, glorious stitch. Now, the whole story behind how this came to be, I'm gonna let Laura tell you. But quick preview, the project is Pineberry Lane. Oh yeah, small sampler. And this is Hannah and Emma Foster. Going on the girl wall. I don't have a girl wall, but I'm stitching it. Laura and I talked about a few different choices, and oh, I knew this was the one. And then I did an original silk conversion for it, listed in the description, which is all Gobelins. Look at those colors. Are those fabulous or what? Except for one spool of Swasser Fiend to cover the over one. I am likely going to rechart most of the letters to be over 2 and just have fewer letters because I hate stitching letters. So I may not actually need that in my own, but ooh, look at those colors. Fabulous, 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 fabulous. So Hannah and Emma Foster by Pineberry Lane, silk conversion listed in the description. And that's going to be our start along together at Sampler Symposium in January, but I have gathered all the supplies now. If you feel like the attic should have some silk packs available for you to buy at Sampler Symposium, you should probably let them know. I mean, can you resist that? I can't resist that. So got ready for it, and then I'm going to let Laura and Brenda tell you all about why are we doing that and what's the story behind it, because I can't do justice to it in the way that Laura can do justice to it. She is the hype woman. She's gonna have you so hyped. So just tune in to Laura and Brenda this upcoming weekend. I know you would anyways, and hear what we're doing and why. Excuse me, frog in my throat. And that brings me to haul, which is pretty much all Pineberry Lane, and it all grew out of the conversation with Laura that you're going to hear all about on their Flosstube, so I won't preempt that. And so I'm going to show you the other charts I bought, because that was PDF. There was no shipping. I could have just bought that, but why travel alone? So I also bought Anne Barlow 1829, which is another great, super fun, colorful, small sampler. That'd be fun to stitch tiny. Also would be fun to stitch on 38 count in Gobelins. And then a friend's gift. I'm thinking of doing a modified version of this on a high count and having that be one of my 12 by 12 ornaments, because, you know, it's a beautiful sentiment, and I think one that would translate well to an ornament that was a gift for a stitchy friend. Ooh, also a good one, a Merry Christmas Redwork sampler. So I have this in mind to pair with my developing idea for a sparkly red display. And then I've also been thinking about, you know, you could make your own versions of some of these using fabulous letters like the Frisian letters that Jacob has his booklet out on. So stay tuned for some variants, because I have thoughts. Then I also got two more, again, candidates for 12 by 12. Might stitch some of these for myself this December. We'll see how far I get. And that's Merry Little Stitches. All really small, should be really fun and quick to stitch. And then last one was Tannenbaum. It's not huge, it's 99 by 99, but I think it'd be a great ornament size on 48 count. I'm obsessed with putting everything on 48 count and putting it on my tree. So that's my haul. And then I have one more thing to show you today. And that's the update on my beaded basket. So we're not gonna see the big tray setup again until I'm away from my tree, because I don't wanna maim my precious ornaments, but I do have progress, and we'll see how much time I give to this over the next month, because I tend to get laser focused on holiday stitching once I've really got the bug. I have been doing some beading, as you'll see, but that may fall by the wayside. So this might be the last time we see progress in the beaded basket until after the holiday season, or I don't know, maybe I'll be showing you more on the next episode. So stay tuned. It's a whole lot of blah, blah, blah. Show us the beads, Katie. So last time I was telling you about, this was my first daffodil, which as you can see now has leaves. I did finish beading all the leaves for the flowers, and how I was going to revert to this trumpet with the beaded, with the double right angle weave and then peyote stitch for the petals, because that was easier than doing right angle weave for the petals on the second daffodil, which we saw last time, and which, yes, also got leaves. You got to keep up with your leaves if you're doing beaded flowers, because otherwise you get to the end and you spent a year making leaves and you hate your life. So hot tip, make sure you're beading leaves concurrently with your flowers. And then I finished the last daffodil in this motif, which is going to be a cluster of 3 daffodils. This one's larger, and it has the beaded trumpet with double right angle weave, peyote stitch for the lower petals, and then leaves, which gives us a gorgeous cluster of 3 daffodils in subtly different shades of yellow, textures, and configurations. Do those look fabulous, or what? This might be my favorite beaded motif yet. So as I was coming to a close on this, I realized I didn't actually know where I was going next on this basket. And I sat down to sketch out ideas of things I had seen, things I wanted to bead, and came up with 3 pages of ideas for beaded motifs to go on my basket. So yeah, I'm definitely still feeling the beading, and I may very well have more to show you next time. But yeah, I could also just get full-time select into Christmas stitching. So that's a little up in the air. I will definitely be finishing Cinder Claws. I'm going to FFO Pennsylvania Christmas too. And then I guess we're just going to see where I go next. So that brings me to the close of this episode. I hope you're getting in lots of wonderful stitching time yourself. For next time, we are going to see what I've been stitching, what I've been finishing, what I've been beading, and then also revisit some favorite past holiday stitches with associated conversions that you might enjoy. So 2 weeks from today, my regular Flosstube day would be Christmas Eve. I will probably be filming a little early, so look for my next Flosstube earlier than 2 weeks. I'm not sure exactly when, that's going to depend, but make sure you're subscribed, you have notifications on, and you won't miss it. So next Flosstube a little earlier than planned, but until then, I do still have kits available in my shop if you'd like to jumpstart your holiday stitching. I have lots of tutorials available to aid you in super sparkle holiday finishing. This uses my bearded spiral rope trim tutorial, which is super fun. We haven't talked about that one in a while. This guy, I love him on blue too. Looks amazing. So lots of inspiration, I hope, available for you on this channel until I see you again, which will be in less than 2 weeks. And until then, happy stitching.